And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy IX. I'm your host, Nick Magata. So, we're back to work, yet again. As we've got our work cut out for us. We've got a couple handfuls of things we gotta do, and it's gonna take us some time to do it. So, if you're not interested in side quests and stuff, don't watch this episode, but you should at least watch this much of it as we approach this little area to the north here. We're getting our first little random battle. We'll deal with that momentarily. But mostly, this first side quest we're doing that leads to this marsh-like area is something you might want to watch. Everything after that is kind of an optional thingamajig, and it's up to you if you want to do it. But these battles shouldn't be too hard. We are going to mow these guys down here. Die. Bubbles! You get hit with the bubble attack. Die. Instant Gib. Alright, and so he learns the Steel Gill skill. Does it help? We'll find out. Like I said, I don't always remember where they are ability-wise and what they've got equipped, so we've got to go back and check once in a while. Let's go ahead and look at him. Undead Killer, where is the Steel Gill? There it is. So can we change him to something that he would get more benefit from? No. Okay, so that's as good as it's gonna get. Really, well, he doesn't need spirit, so I guess that doesn't matter. As we head into this place with a giant question mark over it, what could it mean? You're about to find out. We're also gonna run into something else here. Welcome to Q's Marsh. So whatever's going on here, we'll find out as we arrive at the Q's Marsh. Alright, so we're thrown in a battle. Great. Now what do we fight here in the marsh? Anything new? Probably. Let's see. Yes, these guys. But we'll talk about this. We'll talk more about what these all have in common later. Don't worry about it right now. Not a big deal. Just kill him outright. Glowing eyes will put somebody to sleep. Yeah, of course it's Zidane. Take that, fool! And the battle is won. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving. As you get a bunch of this kind of stuff, but we're just keep heading straight through the foliage, and you'll reach this person. This weirdo. Let's see. What you gotta do is... There. You gotta catch a frog. And come here. Yes, I do. Me? And this is Quina. Or Kina. Quina, whatever. Quina's fine. You want this frog? Yes. Alright, here you go. And we give her a frog. Okay. You pathetic Quina, Quale. Can't even feed yourself. Uh-oh, somebody's about to get a lecture, I think. Frog's very good. Frogs are here best. Better than Alexandria's. You in darkness need some light. Word, big place. Many foods. Alexandria, just one kingdom. You need go more. Eat other food. It's my Yoda impression. I'm not very good at it. You don't say. Yeah. Why not? Sounds like a plan. Yes, this is very true. Now, of course, you can skip this. You don't have to pick up this character. But it's a free character. Why wouldn't you? You can come back and do this at any time as well. Interesting. And you also get some more backstory with Vivi here. What's up with this guy? I know not that bigot. Interesting. You know he knows of him. This is why Vivi looks back. So apparently there's something to do with Vivi's grandpa Quan. We'll have to find out more about that later. Anyway, so Quina joins the party at level 12. So she's a little lower than everyone else, but at least higher than Vivi. She's a front row fighter for the most part. We got an upgrade for her, so let's put that on her. You'll want to put on just the best gear you can put on her, which would probably be the steeple hat, because you notice she's not learning a lot from some of this stuff, so you just put on, if she can learn from it, just put it on her. The cotton robe, and she can learn stuff from the glass buckle. So those are really good things there. Let's go into her ability. One of the abilities you're going to want to equip is High Tide. Allows you to trance faster. Her trance is actually, well, we don't know if it's a he or a she, but I will refer to, okay, it's an it. Whatever. Anyway, High Tide, its trance is almost necessary in many ways to learn some of the really good skills of the game, which is why we went through the trouble to get her. So we're gonna go ahead and rearrange her gear there. Now that it's all set up, we're ready to do one more task. We can do this with Quina at marshes that we find. We let her catch frogs. Sure, just a little while. And as you can see, there's different types of frogs. And depending on what frogs you eat, depend on the growth. But you see, there's a golden frog out there. Now, the golden frog does not count as anything extra. It's a unisex frog. And so the unisex frog means that if we leave one adult frog behind and the gold frog, we will, the breeding of this area will go well. And that's the most important thing that happens. One of the things that people make the mistake of is they'll consume frogs. So many frogs that they'll leave none left. And then they come back later in the game for more frog catching, and there's like 4 frogs. When you could really have a huge amount of frogs here just by letting them breed. But the idea is the more frogs that you capture, the more goodies you'll get from Quali. So we're going to want to make sure that we capture at least every frog except for the last 2. So there's 3 frogs, 3 greens left. We only want 2 of them. So let's see. You could capture the last frog and leave the gold frog, but there's no reason to do that. Just leave the 2 frogs behind and you'll be happy. Maybe. You'll find out. Some people say get all the frogs because it'll be a while before you can come back here. And I don't fully agree with that either. But and you'll see why as we start doing other side quests and things. This will start to make more and more sense. Alright, 1 more frog to go. And then we can leave here pretty safely. We get an ether for our trouble. Thank you, Master Quali. Alright, and remember, we don't want to grab the gold frog. We want to grab the green frogs. Those are the frogs that we're really looking to capture here. And we just need 1 more. So let him jump out. It's hard to get him to move where you want him to move. And like I said, I don't want to capture... Gotcha! And that's it for now. We're going to leave those 2 frogs behind because they're the ones that are going to repopulate the area. Remember, the gold frogs are unisex. You notice how the frog kept saying male or female. Golden frogs don't say anything because they can be both sex at the same time. They get the best of both worlds. So we're going to ignore the rest of that for the time being. Now, even though we have Quina, there's still some things we gotta kind of do. So we'll do those in a moment. Alright, so now that we've got Quina, there's some things we need to talk about really quick. She is a blue mage in every sense of the word. And like blue mages, they have to go through some sort of routine in order to learn skills. And right now we're going to do pretty much a kind of like a power run of stuff that Quina needs to learn. As I burp and fart and all kinds of stuff. So give me 1 second here, as there are some enemies here in the marshlands that we want to consume. Now here's the deal. It only works under certain criteria. It's the only way you can make this work. And let me show you here what we're going to do. We're going to try and win. I think this is one of them, actually. These are Axolotl. I don't know. We'll find out. She has the ability called Eat. Whenever she eats a monster, she has the ability to learn its skill. Now, the only way she can eat said monster is you have to weaken it. See, I can no eat till weaker. So you have to weaken it to a point where it can be easily consumed. Now, this is where it gets tough. The enemy's HP needs to be around 25% of its maximum, which means it's easy for other characters to pick that enemy off. It's also easy to get the crap kicked out of you while trying to do this, which is never fun. You don't want to get the crap kicked out of you while trying to do this. As you can see, we're taking a beating from these little guys. That's why I narrowed it down to 1. No, he's still not weak enough. Let's see if we can Soul Blade it, just to keep it from using that skill on us. This is enemy's HP and MP. Now, just defend. Oops, I forgot we needed to weaken it with Vivi. So, let's see. May as well just wait. Defend. There we go. Attack. Eat. It's got to be pretty weak. We may accidentally kill it, but if worse comes to worse, let's use Lancer and see if we can get some help with that. No, it's dead. Oh well. I think that one teaches Aqua Breath, so that's kind of the one that we wanted to get. So we'll have to find another way to weaken it. Probably with a lance attack and not use the lightning skill. Lightning magic there. So as you can see, it's a process to learn these skills, and I am going to show you this working, and I am going to show you the enemies that we want to fight to get these sense skills. As we now reach an enemy that will give us that. These are the Gigantoads. Right? Gigantoad. Pretty much the problem with Zidane is he'll kill anything he attacks. So we're trying to avoid that by allowing Freya her melee, and this should be enough. Let's go ahead and try it. This is probably one of the more important skills to learn, Frog Drop. It's not useful right now, but as you progress towards endgame, it'll be one of Quina's strongest attacks if you do the mini-game involving her and eating the frogs. The more frogs you eat, the more damage that skill does. I think 99 or 100 frogs or something does like 6,000 points of damage, and it only costs like 4 MP to cast it. So it's definitely a skill you want to learn. As we're now going to try this again. Let's see if we can do this without failing. So obviously let's just do this, followed by this, followed by that, and we'll use Zidane to kill the other one, so we don't get hit by dual Aqua Breaths. Oh wow, never mind. It appears that even she can kill it outright. That could have been because Vivi threw an attack in, so let's not attack this time. Let's go with one melee attack coming from... If not, we might have to have Quina attack it, which may be the case. Nope, it's still alive, so we should be able to kill it. We should be able to, in theory. Yeah, so there's Aqua Breath learned. Nice. So we did that. Yay! And somebody gained something. Somebody learned a skill and I missed it because I was looking at my stopwatch here. So there we go. There's the two big ones here. There's one other one that we gotta learn from an enemy. But they're not... I don't think they're in the marsh as much as they are outside the marsh. We'll find out. They're like right in the area outside the marsh. But we'll figure that all out in a moment. As, let's see... Oh, you've seen this. Alright, killed them. Let's keep moving. So we've got the Toad, so we have Frog Drop and the Aqua Breath. but there's still about 8 more enemies that we can actually learn some really cool skills from. So we're going to want to make sure that we get those. So let's head outside first. And there should be a forest over here. There it is. So there is a nearby forest where we're going to find 2 more skills. Let's just make sure this is the enemy we're looking for. There's 2 enemies, and one of them is actually when you have to go by and get to make areas. It's called the Serpion, I think. I think it's called that. And he's nasty customer. He hits pretty hard. Yeah, this is him. So we're going to go ahead. He has a lot of HP, I think, too. So there's a good hit. We're going to try and eat him after doing that. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's put a potion up on Vivi since he's kind of hurt. And there's the Mighty Guard. Mighty Guard casts Protect, and it casts Shell on the entire party. Costs a lot of MP to use, too. Costs like 65 MP or something. So it's a very high casting spell, but it's a very powerful spell. So make sure you get it. And that's how you pretty much can pick that one up pretty easily. You see, I'm kind of doing this because there's still a handful of enemies out here. I'd rather not have to head back to town to learn the other skills if I don't have to. We're thrown into another battle. Okay, so just a random battle full of enemies we don't care about. So here is an enemy that we're looking for, a specific type. We're going to run into ladybug enemies here. So we're hoping to run into what's an enemy known as the Hedgehog Eye. But we didn't. We ended up running into these guys, which is just as good. These are Vice, and Vice will also supply us with something really nice. I made a rhyme. We're going to go ahead and weaken him with a fire spell. Attack the other one with Freya just in case. Steal from one with Zidane. May as well have him do something rather than just stand there and look funny. Let's see which one stays alive and takes the most damage, and we'll work it from there. Okay, so she'll kill one outright. So that's obviously not going to work. So let's see if Vivi was able to weaken it enough to eat it. We learned Vanish. So there's the Vanish skill. So we learned that as well. Yay! And we learned Antibody. Nice. So this is a nice little side thing that we can do in order to, in a sense, it's kind of like grinding. Not a big deal, though. It's not like dramatically bad or anything. It's just a great way to learn a lot of the extra skills that our characters don't know, or Quina doesn't know. So obviously that's not the enemy we were looking for, though that is one of them. We want to make sure we get the other one as well. Come on. Come on. You know you want to be found. Oh, and we're thrown into a side quest thing here. What could it be? We've been waiting for one of these for a while. It's the Ragtime Mouse! He's going to ask you random questions about the game. And the idea is if you get it wrong, you fail. If you get it right, you get a bonus. So pop quiz. Question number 1. The 15th Limblum War started in 1600. Is that true or false? That's false. How do we know that? We found that out, I believe, in the beginning of the game. You can find that out. So let's go ahead and don't attack the Ragtime Mouse or the circle. Attack the thing that says false. And for getting it right, what is our prize? Correct! Now this happens throughout the game periodically, just from wandering in forest. So we get 1,000 gil. Sweet, we're 100% correct. You're an expert! Sweet. And so that's the game, how you want to make sure you get these right, because you get a nice reward at the end for getting all of his questions right. So and I think there's a finite amount of questions. I think you have to get like 13 right. And don't worry if you miss one, because he will ask you other questions as well. So it's not a big deal if you miss one. Hopefully we get into the fight we were hoping for. So there's part of another side quest that goes periodically throughout the game as well. No, these are ladybugs. They're pretty much one-hit wonders. You can kill them off in one hit. It takes from pretty much any character. The Queen's attack is very unique. She does randomized damage, amounts of damage. So she doesn't always do the same amount of damage every turn. Sometimes she does 100, sometimes she'll do 50, sometimes she'll do 300, 400. But her maximum attack damage is based on the weapon she has equipped. So forks are very random in a sense, so you do need to be weary of that as it happens. Not that it's a big deal or anything, but you don't want to be stuck with an equipped weapon that's you know, doesn't give you you want to be equipped with a weapon that gives you maximum damage no matter what. So that's kind of the goal. If we don't run into one soon, we're going to have to move to a different forest because we're obviously not in the right place. Let's see. Yeah, we got to be in the wrong place. Okay, so we won that battle, though we've still not really found what we're looking for. They might be found on the marsh, too, so let's check there really quick first as well. No, so we'll skip this. Okay, I've moved to different places and I've had no luck getting the hedgehog pie to spawn. So I'm going to skip him, but there is another place that we want to go. So we're not quite done yet. So as you can see, we're heading back into Lindblum here. Why would you go back this way? There's a reason. There's a reason for my madness. Because there's 3 other skills we can get. And these are actually pretty easy skills for us to get, so we may as well do it now. Especially one of them because you can't really get it later, much later. So you're better off just trying to get it now when you're in an area where you can run around the same zone for a while until you get it. So, let's get to it. What we got to do first is we need to head to the business district. And we're going to head on to that area where we were kind of leveling up Zidane's ogre weapon. So that's where we're headed. If you're not sure where that is, just keep watching and we'll get there. And there's all 3 enemies that we fight out there have something very useful to give us, which is why it's worth the effort. If I'm not mistaken, the carved spider has a skill for us. The axe beak has a really good skill for us, which we want to make sure we get. And the bomb, obviously, is going to have a skill for us to get as well. So all 3 of those things are the skills that we want to learn for Quina while we're here. Because it needs as much help as it can get. So, in order for it to be a good character, we need to give it some skills, so let's do it. My urge to say he and she is just driving me insane, rather than just referring to it as an it. A unisex character. Okay, so now that we're outdoors, we're going to go for the bomb first, since we now have a full party. Shouldn't be too hard. Obviously, we're now stuck in this soiree. You can actually even get 2 skills in one go. If you get the axe beak spider combo, which I think we're going to get. Yep. So here's the deal. Zidane and Freya and even Quina can kill these guys outright. So the idea here behind how we should probably strategize our battle is that we want Vivi to go ahead and see if we can hit that spider without killing it. Sweet, we got a tent. And hopefully we can finish off this spider, at least we can hit him one time without killing it, using magic, which we couldn't do. Wow. So we're going to have to get lucky with that one. We know, again, Zidane can kill the beak outright, so let's just try and steal from it. We'll try this again with Vivi, but again, this is going to be tricky, because I think Vivi will also kill this enemy outright as well, but we'll try. And if not, we'll have to use a different tactic. Okay, so that didn't kill it, so let's go ahead and eat it. It should be weak enough. And for the spider, we'll have to have Vivi melee it to death, and I'm not going to make you guys watch that. Wow, it's still alive, huh? Okay, well, Vivi's going to have to attack it. Sweet, we stole an ore. Now this is all going to be trial and error. We just have to keep trying until we kill it with Vivi, because it's got to be weak enough. It's got to be almost there. No, maybe not. Didn't think they had that much health. Attack it again. And really, we're just systematically weakening this enemy to do what we needed to do. Guard! Ha ha ha! You can steal if you want, though you've probably stolen everything. No, it still has something else on it to steal. Now, okay, well, it obviously has more health than I remember, so let's see if we can try and hit it again without killing it, which is impossible at this point. So anyway, the idea is to systematically weaken those 2 enemies and then obviously pick them off, which is what I'm going to do now, but I'm going to show you the bomb fight next, so bombs are a little trickier. Okay, they're definitely trickier. First and foremost, let's make sure we have everybody at least healed up pretty high. You can see I spent a lot of time trying to find that hedgehog pie. Not really a lot of time, but every character except for Zidane gained a level, so kind of felt like a waste. But I just want to show you the enemies you're going to want to eat off of, and a tactic to kind of bring them down. Bombs are tricky because I think one ice spell is enough to give them. So, well, we'll talk about that when we actually fight some. Okay, so we got the Limit Glove ability from the Axe Beak. They actually held off Freya's attacks, so which made it weak enough to pick off. Still got to get one from the spider enemy, and hopefully we'll fight some bombs. A bomb, okay. So here's the deal. Zidane's got the Ogre on, so he's obviously not a candidate for fighting that sucker. Let's have Freya attack, and then we'll try that. That did 320. That's a lot of damage. So let's see if that was enough damage for us to eat it. Nope, not quite. Now it gets to the tricky stuff, because if that wasn't enough to pick it off, it's going to take a bit of strength, I think, to pick it off. Not a bit of strength, but like, it's got to have enough health that makes it substantially harder to pick off. We've already taken off a chunk of its health, so it can't be much more. Yeah, alright, so let's have Freya attack again, though that could be bad. It'll probably end up killing it. Yeah, it was enough to kill it. Probably has around 500 HP. So we'll have to try a different tactic, but that's the bomb, and that's of course the enemy we're going to have to find a way to take down somehow. To see that we can get that skill. So I'm going to go ahead and get the skill from the spider enemy and from the bomb. So, and I'll tell you what those are as we get them. Alright, so we got Mustard Bomb from the bomb, which is the one skill, and we need to still fight a spider, so let's do that. Okay, so we finally learned the skill called Level 3 Defenseless. Now, the limit, you know what, I'm going to find the other... Let me tell you what these skills do, because we found pretty much almost all of the ones available. But if you do see a Hedgehog Pie, he teaches a skill called Pumpkinhead. I don't remember what that does, because I never used it. But more importantly, the Frog Drop, based on how many frogs you have, you will do X amount of damage. Same Aqua Breath is a AoE water attack, which is very good. Vanish, obviously, is self-explanatory. Your characters become immune to physical attacks, because they're invincible of them. The level 3 Defenseless lowers the defense of any character whose levels are in multiples of 3. The only way you'll know that is by using either scan or, reading a guide is how you know, but, or trial and error. The Limit Glove is, the lower Queena's health is, the more damage that attack will do. Mighty Guard, we've discussed that. It's the best skill out in the field you can find. And Mustard Bomb causes this strange status effect. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes you instantly explode. And what it does is you use it on an enemy, and if he's vulnerable to it, if that enemy doesn't attack or cast a spell, does any of that kind of stuff whatsoever, he will pretty much die. So it's kind of a unique status effect. I actually think it's if he touches you physically, you'll die. I don't think it affects you if you cast magic spells, but you definitely don't want to get hit by Mustard Bomb yourself. It's a nasty skill if and when it works. So other than going into some huge discussion about the skill and all that stuff and the odds, we use it. We might find ourselves using it once in a while, but again, it's a skill that mostly is ignored. But since you're up there getting the level 3 Defenseless and you're up there getting the very important Limit Glove, you may as well do it now. And the Axe Beak is an easy enemy to get it off of, so that's kind of why we went through the trouble to do that, as we are now making our way back up and around here. So that's pretty much that. There's another skill we can choose to pick up now, but again, it's like the Hedgehog Pie. I always seem to have trouble getting them to show up on the map. But for the most part, that has been completed. So yay, we get the luxury of wandering all the way back to pretty much where we came. But that covers a lot of stuff. That covers a lot of very decent skills, though, that she'll get a lot of use, it will get a lot of use out of right away. Which is why it's really important to get it out of the way right now. Because that way Queen is not wandering around with just her melee attack. Because though her melee attack sometimes is really good, it's not consistent, so you can't honestly rely on it to do what you need it to do when you need it to happen. Okay, so now we're going to end up back on the world map. If we run into a Hedgehog Pie, I'll be happy, but I don't think we will. And if we do, we'll try and figure out how to make it a part of us here. We want to head pretty much this direction. Okay, won that battle. Let's keep moving. What we're doing is we're heading far, far to the, I want to say the east here. Oh, looky here, we got a hedgehog pie battle going on. Let's see if we can weaken one without killing it. Okay, so that killed it, so we'll have to use something a little weaker. Let's try some magic. Steal from it if we're not going to do anything. It did some damage, but I don't know, it's hard to tell in bank how much damage it did. Let's try eating it. No, we'll throw another fire spell at it or something. See if we can get this sucker. No, cannot eat till weaker. I think this might kill it though. Well, hopefully it doesn't. No, it's still standing. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. No. Let's try again. There we go. So we ended up getting the pumpkin head. Nice. I'm not sure what it does. We're gonna have to look it up, and we can actually go through her list and look at all this stuff. So right now, not a big deal. Let's look at the map and figure out where we are, because we're not quite sure. I'm not quite sure where we are. So let's see here. Okay, we're heading the right way. There. Okay, so we are heading the right way. I wasn't sure if we were or not. So we gotta keep moving, and another battle. Alright, killed that sucker. Let's keep moving. Now, we're not going to go to that little thing on the right first. Now, looky here, we got another enemy. And this enemy is another one we can learn a skill from, but he's got a lot of HP, as opposed to some of the other enemies we've fought, I believe. Let's see if we can eat him now. And this will actually cover everything available for a while, so that... I'm kind of happy we ran into him. Except he... Ooh! Can level us. Ow! Please kill it. Oh god, it's not dead. We'll have to use our high potions here, because that pretty much kicked the crap out of us. Woohoo! Healing! Healing! We may even have to just flat out try and kill it. I don't want to pretty much die at this point of the game, as he's throwing out nasty stuff, using on Freya. No! Son of a bitch! Phoenix down. Dragon Lancer skill. That'll get Freya's HP up a little bit. Jesus, that thing murdered us. Let's go ahead and attack him outright now. I don't care, I just want to kill it. We'll fight this enemy later, too, by the way, so it's not a big deal. But we actually learn a skill from him. But yeah, you don't want to get hit by that fire breath. As you can see, it leveled the party pretty badly. Son of a bitch. Ow. Ow. We're going to go ahead and use a tent and try to get to the next area without getting murdered. Wow, almost got murdered there. That would have been, like, pretty sad. Alright, as you can see, we're heading towards a gate area over here, which is kind of why we came this way, one of the reasons we came this way. As this initiates another side quest. I mentioned the side quest earlier. Oh, darn it, that's not what I wanted to do. Get back, get back! That last enemy, by the way, was an Ironite, if you were wondering. So it's an enemy you don't want to mess with. Unless you're trying to learn the eating skill. And really, we could have probably... I'm just surprised we got murdered as badly. There's some mocha coffee here. This is the... If you remember the guy in Dolly at all, he wasn't in Dolly. He was in a mountain area near Dolly who kept commenting how much he loved coffee. That's what you were looking for. Let's see here. And that coffee quest starts now, so you want to make sure that you pick it up. I mean, obviously you can get it later and whatnot, and you should only really worry about it if you give a crap, but that's what you're looking for, is that item there. Let's see. There should be... No... Well, there should be something here. There it is. Just say, there should have been something around here. Starting to worry. So we got us an ether, and this is a good place to grind levels if you feel like you need to. Or if you really want to get the Ironite stuff. I mean, that skill, because obviously you can come back here and heal whenever you want. So, it's up to you what you want to do. But definitely worth the effort. Let's keep moving here. were thrown into battle. So if I fight an Ironite, I'll try and get its skill. Okay, so I actually fought an Ironite, of all things. As you can see, he almost killed me. Luckily, we survived the major attack, and we also ate him. It took pretty much our main character Zidane's melee attack. It took an ice and a fire spell from Vivi. God, I can't think of names right now. From Vivi to finish him off, and that's what it really took. So there you go. All right, so let's continue on. And this is the last sub-quest for us to do at the moment, which is called, this is one that we're going to spend a lot of time doing off and on. You guys aren't going to get to see a lot of it. I will show you things spontaneously as they happen with it. But again, this is one that is just, I've seen people invest hours into this. And it can be. And we'll try and do it as much as you can. And I'll let you guys know what we find throughout doing this. But I am going to do, the rest of the episode is mostly going to be playing Choking Ball Hot or Cold. But we have some other things that we got to do. So we'll talk about that in a minute. As this is Choco. The Chocobo that is from Final Fantasy V is not the same Chocobo. That's Boko. So there's a difference. So, okay, so here's what we got to do. We got to buy some Giselle greens. Well, we have some now. Now what we got to do is go to where we see some Chocobo footprints. We saw some earlier, but there's actually some closer than that. So let's go, excuse me, let's go ahead and do that then first. Let's see, they should be, here they are. As you can see on the ground, these are Chocobo footprints, which should bring us a Chocobo! Yay! Chocobo! Giggity 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 giggity. You may as well get about a good 10 to 20 of these suckers if you can afford it. Which we should be able to do more than just that. We could probably max out. Yeah, we can easily max out. So let's go ahead and grab the maximum. There we go. So what's the big secret? Did you know Koopa, once Chocobos chooses its master, follows him, da-da-da-da-da. You don't say. So we pay 60 gil. Alright, so here's the deal. This is a mini game, and it's pretty much, if you've ever played the game Hot and Cold, you'll know exactly how this game works. As you can see, as he says Quay, that means there's nothing there. Now, he'll get more excited as you get closer to stuff. You can see, now we have a question mark, there we go, and that's the big one, and then now we find the item in question. It's a Giselle Greens. We can't carry it because we already got the maximum, which is, yeah, I threw that much money at it. You can see we found another item, just randomly coming upon it. There's something else really close, so let's go find that, as it should be over here. This game is, like I said, it can be frustrating, but as you can see, we are finding stuff. Let's see, and if you get 5 items in a row, or 5 items before timer runs out, you get an extra 10 seconds. As you can see. Now, what's the point of doing this? There's actually very rare items, stone with patterns. And we get 5 additional points, and the beak leveled up. 2 levels for finding that. The higher the beak level, the more depth you can cover faster per hit. So let's see, I'll double your points on from here, I'll give you 10 extra seconds. Okay, so we'll find out what that item is in a minute. Because that's kind of the reason why we're here. We hopefully can find another item here quickly. Not having any. There we go. Come on. There it is. Now we're going to get double points, so 1 point, so we get 2. And let's see if we can find any more items here. I don't see anything up there. And down here, we're probably going to run out of time here before we find the second item. Come on. Nope, past it, we lost. Oh, and I just found it too. Dang it. Okay, so we can't carry any. We leveled up 2 levels. Now let's see, what's the stone with patterns, you say? Can I see? Okay. Run in the forest and look for this place. Da 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 da. So we found what's called a chocograph. These are what we really came here for. We'll discuss more about these a little later. But like I said, there's like want to say there's like 9 of these here in this Chocobo Forest. You should be able to find at least 9 of these suckers here. And we're probably going to spend the time finding... I'm going to spend a lot of time here off screen because we need to find them all. There's also some other things that can be found here. So when we come back, I'm going to show you which ones I found. And we may even have enough time to find some of them. So let's wait and hold off on the rest of this. But this is the idea of the minigame. Really quick, guys. I did find something new. Found a chocograph, Gasol Greens. More importantly, you're going to find out something else I found. A chocograph piece. It's a fragment of a chocograph. Obviously, there you will find more of these to finish a new chocograph. So I just wanted to sit and let you guys know there are other things to find than just chocographs. I found 3 so far, 3 chocographs so far, I believe, and a chocobo graph piece. So we're almost there. We're getting there. Okay, so when you acquired all chocographs in the area, this is what comes up. It says you can't find any more chocographs. So that's how you kind of know you've got as many as you can get. Here's the deal. There's 2 that we can actually get right now, surprisingly. But first things first, let's go ahead and we have to select one before we can do it. And it's one located near the stream side. So let's go ahead and go get that one first. That one's pretty obvious where that one will be located. So what we do is when we select a chocograph, said chocograph, we can look at our map and we can see where it's going to be. Now this one is the easiest to find, as you can kind of make out that it's by a stream with a bridge, and you can see this matches the map pretty well. And look at that, we land right on top of it. What are the odds of that? And we find ourselves 2 elixirs, 3 high potions, 4 ethers, and 2 sets of Germinus boots. So that's one of the reasons right there that we want to do it. And that's just the first one. Imagine what we find later. So now we're looking for this one. Look near the mountains facing the ocean on the southwest side of the Mist Continent. So it's on the southwest side of the Mist Continent between 2 mountains. So they say. Oh god, that could be almost anywhere. It should be... Good question where that is. What did it say? On the southwest side of the Mist Continent. Well, this counts as the southwest side, I guess. I don't think it would be in here necessarily. Between 2 mountains, with some water trying to reach it. Like I said, this can be tough. Just gotta look around for them, as it would seem. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Here it is. So this is where we want to be. We went too far north. It's got to be further south here, or along in this area. There it is. So that helps us find both treasure chests. So that's all the sub-questing that we can do right now. Though we found 9 chocobo maps, chocobo charts, chocographs, whatever. Since that's all we can find, we've already opened 2 of the 9 that we have, but unfortunately that's all we can do right now. But we've done a lot. We've gotten Q, we've gotten Quina, we got all of her skills, surprisingly. We did everything we can do in the Chocobo Forest, and we got the coffee quest started because we found the coffee over at the other gate. So now we finally get to go back on our journey, which should lead us into Gizamaluke's Grotto. So on the next episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy IX, getting through Gizamaluke's Grotto. We'll see you then.